Hi guys, it's Ulu and welcome back to another book review. Today I'll be reviewing The Lost Victim by Robert Bryndza. This is the last book, or the latest book on the Kate Marshall series, which is one of his two series regarding crimes. So we have the Erica Foster, where she's a detective and she finds cases. We have Kate Marshall, which started with the Nine Helms book and then continues as she is a private investigator. So this is the latest installment, and I listened this to an audiobook recently, and I think it was my first experience with the Kate Marshall as an audiobook. I tend to read the books, but I was feeling kind of need an audiobook. I've been listening to a lot on the bus, because it's not very comfortable to read while you're standing in a crowd sardine style bus, so listening to an audiobook and it's been fantastical. So this is, I believe, the fourth book, and I have mixed feelings regarding the Kate Marshall series, because the first one is very good. It's like very good, but it's the setup for the rest of the series. But I think as a private investigator, sometimes the stories fell a little bit bland and they're not very exciting, as in the crime or as a detective you're following a murder or anything like that, so it gets a bit more intense. But so here is The Lost Victim, and just to summarize, she and Tristan continues to do their private things and the contracts with the state and things like that, but they are in a financial situation, and they get poached by an editor who wants to do a podcast or a book regarding the disappearance of a girl back on 88 or 89, if I recall correctly. So it was a very profile case at the time, not very high, but it went cold, and one of the supposed kidnappers was arrested, but then he was sentenced and then he was acquitted later, so there's a little bit of a track there. So they went to discover. The book itself, it's good. It's the Robert Bryndza formula, which I really like. I like the character. I liked Kate, how she is as a person. She's traumatizing still, but she's stronger, and she's continuing to be what we follow throughout the stories. And towards this end, we get some revelations and some continuations of her personal story, which I found very good. Regarding the case, I found very predictable. It was good, because it was interesting how it would follow and you get all the pieces together, but I felt it was very predictable who would be, like, it's not you get the two lanes, and at one point it's like that lane is a bit obvious, so it should be the other, and it would make sense because of, well, this is also because maybe as someone who reads a lot of thrillers and watch a lot of shows knows that kidnaps usually appear from someone you know or things like that. So but I was intrigued, and it was a thriller that or investigation that was very interesting in the point of view of that. I really like how the story evolved, how the secrets and how the mindset. I think for me what's more interesting was how they find the pieces of all the clues and how they connect, and how they try to play with the others and try to play with all the people they have to talk and they want, and the secrets, I really like that. So I think for me that was one of the parts that I really enjoyed. But it still is a book that I think, for me, if you compare to the two series between Erica Foster and Kate Marshall, I still prefer Erica. I think it's more inciting and it's more exciting to read, and more I don't know, the revelations are not there, while on this one, you always felt like a bit, okay. But I think it's because it's a different tone. I don't know how to explain this, but I love the first one. Nine Elms is definitely one of my favorites. If I were to recommend, like, Nine Elms is very good, and you can read it as a standalone. But then the series, I believe it was the third, or the second, I don't know, one of them I didn't enjoy. This one I really enjoyed. I was exciting. I was wanting to know what happened, so I was into that, but I was at the same time a bit okay, it goes like this, almost sure, like, but I don't think it could go any other way. I think if it go to the other routes will be very unrealistic and a little bit without expectations and without how do you say, without any truth to it, you know. It makes total sense for the story, so that's why I liked it. I would still recommend. It was my first experience with the audiobook, with not within the Robert Bryndza world, because I listened to one that the narration was not very good. I remember, because it made seem the character was very old and she was not. So, but this one was good. I like how the characters were played, how the other book goes. So yeah, I really enjoy it. If you want to give Robert Bryndza a try, I suggested like the Erica Foster series, or even start with Nine Elms, because you will lose a lot of story and spoilers if you get through this one. So it should be written as a series because of the personal stories, otherwise you lose something about that. But I'm very happy with it. I think it was a very interesting story. I think it was an interesting plot, and the disappearance was very interesting in terms of how things go. Yeah, but the resolution was like a bit predictable. Not gonna say it's not, but the style is there, the writing style is there, the characters are there, they are evolving, you see different sides, and you see her, you know, starting to moving, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, if you give it a try, start with Nine Elms, because you have to start at the start of the series and you will love that one. But then go with, if you want to have a good time. It's a very easy read, it's very fast. Robert Bryndza books are very easy, very fast reads. Like, you get excited by reading them and you finish very fast. So it's a very good read for when you are trying to find something fast and very enticing for you to continue reading. So yeah, this is my review for The Last Victim by Robert Bryndza. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I have all my social medias down below. And yeah, I see you guys on my next video, okay? Bye.